The rapid prototyping, development, and iteration. Like, what the hell do you think you are? I mean, it's fine. Keir Starmer might be a robot, but I don't think that is a viable prototype that you want to continue developing.
When the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part.
Haven't done a video on British politics for a while, so this one is both funny and sad. There was news that the Labour Party General Secretary has unveiled a new party structure. And let's read what this consists of. So, Labour General Secretary David Evans used an all staff meeting today to unveil the new party structure that has emerged from the Organize to Win process, which will see jobs disappear at a time when the party is looking to cut at least 90 employees. So, I'm going to get to the job cuts in a bit. But for the moment, let's understand what this new structure entails. And yeah, here we go. In the presentation, Evans said Labour would be voter centric, i.e., serving the needs of voters first, as opposed to engaging in transactional behaviors, i.e., telling voters what they should think or do, or ask questions on our terms. The General Secretary specified that this would involve developing winning voter centric policies. He also stressed that Labour needs to be lean and agile. Is this starting to sound a bit corpo speak ish? It gets worse. It will achieve using a hub and spoke model to meet the needs of voters. On the model, the presentation states, this helps to aggregate and specialize core functions in the hub. The spokes, which cover the regions and nations, enable our vital citizen-facing activities to be delivered as close to voters as possible. It goes on to say that Labour will work collaboratively in multidisciplinary teams, which will adopt a product mindset using agile ceremonies, be empowered to make decisions, and encouraged to focus on rapid prototyping, deployment, and iteration. What the holy fuck was that? This was this could have been written by like some McKinsey consultant interns. Okay, because this is just basically word salad of corpo speak, management consultant speak. Especially this obsession with agile, which agile is like the most bullshit corporate buzzword of the last 5 years, I would say. Everywhere you go, it's all about agile mindset and agile business, and it's all so fucking hollow. Like all of this is so fucking hollow, and it's just sad that a party called the Labour Party, of all parties, uses this language to describe its its internal strategy, how it's gonna conduct itself. Um, but yeah, and this, the rapid prototyping, development, and iteration. Like, what the hell do you think you are? I mean, it's fine. Keir Starmer might be a robot, but I don't think that is a viable prototype that you want to continue developing. And well, this is all in the backdrop of just a general strategy for failure, I would call it, because this is from 2020, from July of last year. And this was, it's the same general. So this guy, David Evans, is behind all this bullshit. And he informed the party staff that he's launching a review of Labour's organizational structure. And this was where the employment issues started emerging, because they, aside from the job cuts that would later occur, and I'm going to discuss this in a bit, this was when they realized that they needed supposedly a new strategy ahead of the May 2021 elections, local elections mostly. And so here's what they thought they were missing. So Labour needs a major overhaul of its political strategy, organization, and campaigning infrastructure, including its digital tools and approach to online campaigns to win again. Labour needs to invest in and upgrade its technological infrastructure and capacities and should adapt its working culture and structures to match. So basically, it wants to turn into a Silicon Valley firm, the Labor Party. I would like us to focus on ideas that can help us become a more agile, again, cohesive and purposeful organization. We have a big set of elections in May 2021, and we need to be ready to face this challenge quickly. Well, guess what happened in May 2021? They were humiliated. There was the Hartlepool fiasco, where they lost a historically Labour seat in a by-election. They lost God knows how many local council seats across the entire country. And ironically, the places where Labour did win were places where their candidates were pretty leftist and had a vision of a leftist Labour Party leading Britain. And the places where they didn't win was where they didn't have this, because the Labour Party under Keir Starmer does not have a national vision of what it wants to be. Its only message right now is we're not the Tories, we're not Boris Johnson, and that will not be enough to win an election. That's a fact. Now, what I find most stunning about this Labour leadership, this liberal centrist Labour leadership, is that liberal centrists always claim to be, the fact-based ones, the evidence-based ones. They love science and they love rationality and things like that. You see that in their Twitter handles all the time. And yet, when they face the actual evidence that what they need is a platform with proper leftist values, they pretend like they don't care and they don't listen to that. So this is all BS. This is all BS. And what I find most stunning, aside from the fact that clearly this plan failed, this idea that its problem is like its campaign infrastructure, its technological infrastructure. Dude, if you had the message that a lot of the labor base, the young labor base, wants, I mean, these people will do your propaganda for you. These people will be on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook promoting labor, like they did when Jeremy Corbyn was the leader of labor. They're not going to do that if you just have this bland robot known as Keir Starmer with no vision for the future, because they are invested in this future. So all of this just seems to be the signs of a party that is mostly beholden to a corporate base that it once had, that it was when it was once dominant under Tony Blair, and thinking that they can just repeat this again. But it's not the late 90s. It's not the early noughties. You're facing a completely different Tory party now than you were then. You can't run on the same platform that you did back then. So, and anyway, more proof that Labour is behaving exactly like if it was McKinsey. Here was a note from just a couple of, less than a month ago. Labour recruiting staff on insecure contracts while making mass redundancies. So, yeah, they're on this drive to fire some of their employees, and they're using underhand fire and rehire practices condemned by Keir Starmer himself in a speech just a few months ago. So, when the Tories do it, it's bad, but then when Labour does it among its own people, somehow that is good. Same with purges. The Labour centrists were always they would always make hissy fits when the Blairites lost their influence under Corbyn. But now what they're doing is essentially purging the party of all of its Corbynist elements, of all of its progressive elements, because they want to turn this party into a centrist party. They still think, like every single centrist on this planet, that the only way to win elections is on a centrist platform, which is just wrong. Centrism does not have a platform anymore in politics. It's a dead ideology. It's not dead in the sense of in power. They are in power in many ways. But in terms of ideology, in terms of promoting a centrist agenda, It's dead. And you saw this in the US. And what my fear is that the Labor Party wants to repeat every single mistake that the Democratic Party is making in the US. And let's not kid ourselves. Had COVID not appeared, Donald Trump would have won. There is no doubt about this. Absolutely no doubt about this. Because Joe Biden won. It wasn't that close, but it wasn't exactly the landslide you would have expected after 4 years of Trumpian incompetence. So don't kid yourselves. If there any centrist is watching this, don't kid yourselves that a centrist platform is going to win in 2024 or whenever there's a next election in Britain. Yeah. So this is just so sleazy. Like, despite the scale of the layoffs, the party is actually recruiting temporary staff on significantly less secure conditions and those being asked to take redundancy. An advert posted on a recruitment website offers potential workers a 6-month contract and says work is to be done from home. All applicants need to own laptops, secure Wi-Fi connection, so no overhead for the party itself, no need to pay on infrastructure. The advert does not mention that the job is working with labor and falsely claims that it's in the public sector. So this is awful. Absolutely appalling. Again, all the more considering this is the friggin' Labor Party. Labor Party. Not some centrist party. Labor. Oh, God. This is infuriating. But, yeah, good luck with becoming Agile. Here's what I think is so, like I said, this denial of facts and evidence. In this presentation, Evan said labor would be voter-centric, serving the needs of voters first. And they don't do that. They don't do that because if they did, they would understand what are the policies that voters want. And they would forge an agenda, a vision for the country based on that. And they don't do that. So this is all fluff, just like Agile is. And if you're in a business that promotes Agile, run, because there's a direct relationship of just how bad working conditions are in a business. The more corpo speak is in it. So, and I say this from experience. So on that note, if you like this video, please like, please share. More importantly, please subscribe. And I will try and make more British politics videos. Thanks for watching.